Hi, and welcome to the Idea Spring Capital podcast, a show where we discuss the latest trends in technologies, startups, and tech entrepreneurship in India. Today, we have Suri Prakash Konanuru, CTO of Idea Spring Capital, in conversation with Prasad Panchagam, founder and CEO of Sageware Technologies. In this episode, they discuss AI on the edge, the advantages, the limitations, the velocity of progress, its impact on the silicon chip industry, real world applications in surveillance cameras, voice assistants, and drones, and a whole lot more.
Hi Prasad, welcome to the Idea Spring podcast. So today we'll be talking about AI on the edge, and so as you know, several industries are undergoing rapid realization of the potential of AI on the edge. Before we go into the details, can you describe to our listeners what is AI on the edge?
First off, Suri, thanks a lot for having me on this podcast. Before I describe what AI on the edge is, I think I should start by defining what AI in this context is, because AI can mean many things to many people and it encompasses a lot of techniques. AI in the context of silicon and edge processing today primarily revolves around vision, voice, and NLP use cases, but particularly it refers to what are called artificial neural networks, primarily feed-forward neural networks and CNNs or convolutional neural networks and recurrent neural networks. So when we talk about AI on the edge, we're essentially referring to these techniques. When these techniques are used to infer real-world data on the edge versus processing that data in the cloud, then it becomes AI on the edge.
We are seeing a lot of startups in this space, and the velocity of the progress in this space has been really good. What is driving this velocity?
So, voice and NLP and vision inferencing are the primary drivers in my mind. And when I say vision inferencing, you look at a scene through a camera and identify objects in the scene or count objects in the scene, be able to recognize faces and so on. I mean, these are all uber important for security use cases and so on. And the same goes with natural language processing. You have a whole bunch of voice assistants like, OK Google and Siri and Cortana and all of these nifty little devices and smart speakers that require some form of inferencing from a person's voice and language. And so I would say these use cases are primarily driving the market. But then I would essentially go to the extent of saying that any industry or market vertical that already uses some form of analytical technique to process real world signals will end up using AI and is actually primarily driving AI. So for example, surveillance cameras have for the longest time used object recognition detection techniques, traditional DSP, computer vision DSP techniques. And so that's a market that will essentially migrate to AI. So I would say voice, vision, and NLP and use cases and markets that have used analytical techniques so far.
See, voice, vision, and NLP are basically horizontal technologies. But can you actually tell us more about which industries which are adopting these technologies to actually solve relevant problems?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I would say the one industry that's pouring a lot of money into AI on the edge specifically is the automotive industry. Apart from the IP camera / surveillance industries, automotive vehicles essentially need to process data in milliseconds without having to undergo latencies of sending data up to the cloud and having it processed there. Obviously, for obvious reasons, cars have to be extra safe and they have to respond instantaneously. So inferencing vision, voice, and NLP inside cars to take actions like opening doors or changing things on the infotainment system are all use cases that are extremely important. So I would say the automotive industry is probably the one big leader. And there's a lot of money. You can see companies like Intel and NVIDIA. Tesla is building its own ADAS processing element, and all of the big companies are pouring literally hundreds of millions of dollars into building hardware for the automotive industry.
See, one of the advantages, as you mentioned, is actually the decisions have to be taken in milliseconds. So basically, latency becomes an important issue when actually, if you don't have AI on the edge. What are the other advantages of AI on the edge?
low cost, low power. I mean, low cost in the sense that it costs a substantial amount of money to ship bits from a device out into the cloud and to a data center. It costs a lot of money to host infrastructure in data centers to process these bits and get back to the device. So inferencing at the edge is definitely going to lower cost. In terms of power, again, the carbon footprint of data centers is obviously enormous. So if you send data up to the cloud, I mean, that the total power equation of that is going to be pretty lopsided. And if you had an IP camera that was consuming less than 7 watts of power and being able to inference in that power, that is, several orders of magnitude less than the power consumed by a data center to do the same thing. Also, I would say higher reliability. Devices that do everything within themselves without having to go through networks that have different characteristics and different latencies and different bit rates are essentially going to be more reliable than devices that communicate with the cloud and expect answers from the cloud. Security and privacy, I think, like you said earlier, is a huge factor. I mean, if you take the example of a surveillance camera or a camera that, opens a door when, it recognizes you, you don't really want your face to go up into the cloud. I mean, several countries have laws around storing your images of your face, and even in, airport body scanners, there's very stringent laws about what all this data can be used for and where all this data lives. So it makes it much easier from a privacy and security standpoint to do everything in the edge rather than ship everything back into the cloud.
Even users like us will feel more comfortable if data doesn't go all over the place.
Absolutely.
As you have seen, like the AI has come from cloud to the edge of the network and to devices like mobile phones and tablets and all that. And now I see that there is a lot of work going on in moving that AI onto the silicon system on a chip kind of situation, right? So can you talk a bit more on that?
Devices like your smartphone or an IoT device generally have very limited processing power when you compare it with, racks and racks of blade servers in data centers. These CPUs, generally are not optimized to do very high compute tasks. I mean, CPUs in these devices generally move data from one place to the other, and that's essentially their function, and that keeps the cost of these devices down. So if you want to execute algorithms, particularly recurrent and convolutional neural network algorithms, general purpose CPUs are really not geared or not the most efficient to do to execute these algorithms in real time. I think there has been a huge move in the silicon industry to create special purpose devices and accelerators, on-chip accelerators, to speed up and make more efficient the processing of these algorithms. So for instance, if you look at the Apple phone since A11, which is iPhone 7 and higher, they all have integrated neural engines, which Apple calls Bionic. And that is part of the chipset that goes to power these devices. Samsung has something similar, which is a neural engine from D5, which is a Chinese company that got acquired by Xilinx. Huawei has a Kirin SoC, which has something from Cambricon. MediaTek has something from Cadence. And all of these companies have invested literally, hundreds of millions of dollars building out specific on-chip accelerators to help improve the efficiency and performance of deep neural network algorithms on their specific devices.
And as these things progress, there will also be a need for developing these things easier. I have seen initiatives by NVIDIA or Intel and Qualcomm to actually develop those tools for making this AI on the edge more easy to actually develop. So anything on that?
Definitely. I think that the market is ripe for, the reception of tools to make life easier for the processing of deep neural network type algorithms. DNNs essentially have pre-trained models, and these models require tools to help optimize them. Well-known techniques like pruning and quantization of these models are critical to making these models more efficient to run on very energy and area constrained devices. So yes, absolutely, NVIDIA, Xilinx, all the big FPGA vendors and all the big silicon vendors in this space are either building or in the quest of tools that help improve efficiency and improve the compression of these models so they can run on these devices.
And as you know, like a lot of interesting innovations are emerging out of this space. One of the things which comes to my mind is the analog approach than the more traditional approach. Can you share what you are seeing in this approach?
Traditionally, convolutional neural networks, fundamentally use convolution, which is matrix multiplication. And DSP techniques and AI techniques have always relied on multiply accumulate hardware or arrays of multiply accumulate units to make things easier. And I think that people have always relied on improving the performance of MAC arrays by going to lower and lower process nodes, clocking them faster so that they can get higher throughput. But I think a novel approach that's evolving now is, instead of going to more expensive process nodes, come up with a completely different paradigm to process AI type algorithms on the edge by using in-memory analog computation. So Mythic is a company that's doing something really interesting in this space, which it uses very cheap, widely available flash memory transistors, and they turn these transistors into variable resistors. So you essentially program the weights of the neural network into these resistors, and these resistors essentially scale the input to provide output. So there's a whole DAC to ADC step that happens in these devices. Of course, these devices are not perfect. I mean, any analog designs have issues of noise, and when you pack a lot of transistors together, they end up affecting each other, and so accuracy can be compromised. But a lot of companies like IBM, Big Blue is essentially spending millions of dollars in research to figure out a pure analog approach to this. And there's another company called Sentient that is building a analog NDP neural data processor. So there's a lot of money and research, but it's far from perfect today. And I think the traditional digital MAC array approach is still in vogue.
Is this because mostly what you have on the edge is an inference engine and not really the training? And how do you actually since most of these things are actually the inference engine on the edge for most of the applications, how do you think people are going to solve the everlasting training, right? Like you initially train, but you need to keep training the model for better accuracy. So what is the kind of approach people are taking for doing this?
That's a great question. Yes, AI on the edge is primarily inference, and it does not have any of the error loopback that is again very compute and power intensive. That is mostly done in data centers and primarily on big GPU hardware from NVIDIA or AMD. I think newer techniques to fine-tune neural networks are emerging, and transfer learning and bottlenecking and fine-tuning weights in fully connected layers in deep neural networks are techniques that are fast emerging. It's, in my opinion, they're still a little bit outside the scope of deep learning accelerators that are going into chips these days. For instance, even on high-end Samsung or Apple hardware, you don't really train the network. But I think as these techniques evolve, some amount of incremental training will be required on edge devices. And I think there is a lot of effort in that direction. It could be possible that multiple deep learning accelerator cores may be used for this purpose, one core dedicated to inferencing and one core dedicated to incremental learning. So the jury is still out on that.
I keep hearing a lot about distributed learning. Some of the learning still actually the learning happens on the edge, but the overall learning from different edge devices happens on the central.
Yeah, all of these parallel computing paradigms I think are applicable in this space, but all parallel computing techniques will still suffer from latencies because you have to still transfer, a vast amounts of data across the network. One thing that, we should point out is that even a relatively small vision inferencing model has a substantial number of weights. So even if you try to distribute these weights across the network and transfer weights back and forth between nodes, they end up consuming a fair amount of bandwidth, and latency may become a big problem.
As you mentioned, we are seeing a lot of real-world applications in surveillance cameras or voice assistants and drones. How are these applications using the AI edge computing, and what other applications actually can we look forward to?
My personal opinion is that the most underserved market for AI is healthcare. And I think healthcare essentially has all the ingredients for a market ripe for AI techniques. Let's take a simple example. Physiological signals that the body is constantly emitting is essentially a vast amount of data that can be used to train models. Stanford, in a seminal paper in 2017, published a deep learning model based on ECG signals that they claim was better than a cardiologist. And companies like AliveCore and iRhythm Technologies, in the US have built a lot of infrastructure to use machine learning and AI techniques to infer from physiological signals. But the reason I think it's important is that healthcare specialists are hard to come by. So there's a huge clinical demand for AI techniques, and healthcare being enormously expensive will benefit the patient by introducing AI techniques. So in addition to the traditional vision, voice, NLP type use cases, I would say healthcare use cases are also going to be extremely important in the coming years.
As you mentioned, latency is a big problem, right? So which is kind of solved by AI and the edge. But look at 5G, which is going to come soon, which actually solves this latency problem to a great extent, or more than great extent. So what do you think the impact of 5G on AI and the edge?
If you've listened to a lot of speeches by industry leaders in the 5G space, they all seem to indicate that 5G will make AI on the edge redundant and irrelevant. But I think, these sorts of statements have come even before 4G and 3G, and these are transformative technologies, but I think 5G still has a long way to go. I completely agree that 5G is aiming to really reduce latency, but it tries to reduce latency by switching communications to multiple spectra. So there's a sub 1 gig and sub 1 gig spectrum, and then there's a millimeter wave spectrum. But these things are all hard technology problems to implement, and they're not going to happen instantaneously. My personal opinion would be that 5G is indeed a long-term evolution, and it will take a while, maybe a decade, for 5G to roll out into these really low latency networks that are completely usable and cost effective. And until then, I still think AI on the edge has a lot of relevance.
If you like this episode, please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, or the platform you're listening to this on. You can also get in touch with us on Twitter at IdeaSpringCap, or visit us on our website at www.ideaspringcap.com. This podcast was produced by Scapari, your complete digital marketing agency.